vamos a empezar con una presentación, una ponencia. Esta línea es un poco diferente de las demás y os voy a presentar en primer lugar a un proyecto europeo, dos en concreto, dos proyectos europeos, Erasmus+. Están aquí los directores de cada uno de ellos. A mi derecha inmediatamente está Lionel Croissant, que es el director del proyecto BIM Game, y a su lado Hervé Maillot, que es el director del proyecto 2B3. Ellos, junto con sus compañeros, van a presentaros el proyecto. La Universitat Politécnica de Valencia participa en estos proyectos y por eso ellos están aquí, han hecho un meeting de trabajo, estuvieron durante el día de antes de ayer alumnos que participan en los proyectos trabajando aquí, ahora os lo contarán. Y habréis visto que al principio o a la entrada os han solicitado que firmaseis una hoja de asistencia. Son dos proyectos financiados con fondos públicos y ellos, lógicamente, tienen que justificar la difusión tanto de sus actividades como de sus recursos. Así que os agradeceríamos muchísimo que, si no lo habéis hecho a la entrada, lo hagáis a la salida. Y si no, como patrocinadores que son también de EUBIM, tienen un stand, seguro que lo habéis visto ya. Estarán durante estos días allí, así que si no lo hacéis ni a la entrada ni a la salida, por favor, acercaros al stand y colaborad con ellos firmando la asistencia y ellos os lo agradecerán muchísimo. Bien, yo creo que con esto termino. Os dejo, como os decía, con el señor Croissant y el señor Maillot y sus compañeros que van a subir ahora mismo y luego os veo para continuar con la sesión. Gracias.
Thank you very much. So, sorry for my Spanish because I don't speak Spanish, so I try to speak English. And we would like to make a little presentation of a new European project about BIM, especially about BIM training. And to begin with, I would like to thank all the university to invite us here, especially Begonia, and all the team to invite us for this great congress. Thank you very much for that. So, you can see here all the team of the BIM game, and we have several partners in these projects. That's Erasmus partnership, especially a strategic partnership. And yeah, thank you. I begin with the list of the partners here. You can see all the team here. You have two universities from Germany, Wuppertal and Jahrhochschule near Hamburg. Faculty of Liège in Belgium. Unfortunately, Charlotte is not here because she's got a flight, but you can see the rest of the partnership in Poland, Datacomp, in France, Lycée du Bois. Pôle Énergie is a kind of agency of energy here, and UCLM here from Cuenca. So, just to explain actually we are at the end of the project because it's a project to organize during 3 years, and we had organized about 10 experimentations at the end, and with 100 students in several countries. The goal is to test our platform on our way of thinking about BIM, a kind of process, collaborative process, but we can explain this topic just after. So the BIM game is focused on 3 main topics. Collaborative way, it's okay. Real situations, it means then it's always real problem from the real life, so it can be an existing building, it could be like in this session, for example, we work on the patio of the university, etc. And human focus, it means then for us, the human part of BIM training is most important, is the most important and more important than the question of software, the question of tools, in fact. Yeah. So we will see a little short video made by Wuppertal University to explain what is a BIM game exactly. It's very short.
BIM enters the building process and requires new skills and abilities of all actors involved. For example, architects, structural engineers, clients, project managers, facility managers, and craftsmen. These new challenges are not limited to our own actions. The integration of all different process steps is the prerequisite for each actor to understand the role of the other and assess their needs. This is not always the case. Actually, wouldn't it be nice if we could understand each other? But therefore, we have to talk to each other and know what the other one is doing. Usually, there's no time for this in a complex project. That is why the BIM game was developed. A web app in which you playfully take on different roles in the process and face their challenges. Architects become engineers and builders become electricians. In short but realistic scenarios, the game demands empathy from each player to fulfill the role of the other without endangering schedules or budgets.
My role is to play the part of a craftsman. The aim is to build a house out of Duplo bricks, which was created by our architects by just using digital plans.
Normally I have to calculate the statics, but today I have to work with form and colors. That's new but quite interesting.
Usually as an engineer I just define which material should be used. I don't have to face the problems on the building site.
It was new to me to be in touch directly with an engineer from the first phase to get his ideas and the feedbacks from him.
And it all even works internationally. The BIM game was developed across national borders.
I think it's a real opportunity to work with several countries and several nationalities for different reasons. The first one is the language. And maybe the second one is to understand how other people are thinking about the same problem. And it can be a problem of, for students, a problem of training, of school. And it can be more generally a problem about human and a different point of view about the world, in fact.
The BIM game is available online. For further information, please contact bimgame.eu. See building information modeling with different eyes.
Thank you. You can applaud. Thank you very much. So I let Michael explain the tool part of the BIM game. How does it work, Michael?
So as Lionel said, it's a project that started 3 years ago, and the main objective was to collaborate between people, and the fact is how to evaluate the collaboration between students. So we need to imagine something to gather all the scenarios we created and a way to evaluate the transfer of knowledge between the different stakeholders of the project, as architects and structural engineers, thermal engineers. So we came to the point of a platform which is called Nextcloud, and we can define on this platform different kind of folders. And also, which is really interesting for us, it's Rocket Chat, which is like a normal chatting platform. But for us as teachers, we can see the process through the stress test we are doing. So it's really interesting because we can see the points where the student didn't communicate and they were waiting for the information, like in real life sometimes when you've got a problem, you don't have the dimension or stuff like that, or you waiting for a file and the structure engineer is waiting for some important information. So that allows us to see, you should have sent some message or phone or call, and then you will have the answer quite soon, in fact. So I think it was the way for us to highlight what is the lack in BIM, because as Lionel said, BIM is not only a software thing, it's much more a collaboration between people. Thank you.
Yeah, as we already said, we use different kind of scenarios when we play the BIM game. Each time the students get a different task, and it's important to us that it's always close to reality, so they get an idea of what it's like to work on a real building project. And when we started the project, our problem was, how do we describe our scenarios? Each partner had ideas on scenarios and wrote them down, but then we had 10 papers with 10 different descriptions and no general way to explain our ideas. So what we decided on was using BPMN, Business Process Modeling Notation. You can see one example of a scenario behind me. It's an easy way to describe a process without having much language in it. You have different forms and symbols that are easy to understand in Spanish, German, Polish, and every other language. So it was an easy way for us to communicate to each other, and also if we give it to teachers who want to play the scenario, they don't need much time to get into the topic. They have one look at the BPMN diagram and understand what the scenario should be about. So we have symbols that say, okay, in this part of the scenario they have to collaborate, and if the students do not collaborate in this part of the scenario, you see within seconds that something is going wrong, and you can go on the platform and talk to the students and tell them, okay, here you're going in the wrong direction, you have to do something different. And we started having tests of our BIM game last year. So we went to all the partner universities and had tests with the students there to see if our idea is working and how we're getting on. So here you can see the test in Wuppertal. What we focused on there was showing students that BIM shouldn't stop with the engineers and architects. It has to get to the building site, otherwise we're losing part of the idea of using the whole life cycle of a building for the BIM technology. So we wanted to show them that you design your house or building on a 3D model, and when it gets to actually building it, you need to give the workers some kind of information of what they're supposed to do. So we used the software of our partner from Poland, BIM-Vision, to show the workers on the building site what they're supposed to build. And as it's difficult for within one day to design a house and actually build it, we used Duplo stones, like Lego. So the students designed their idea, the house made of Lego stones, and then actually build it within the classroom. You can see them building it there. And to see how the building process is getting on, when they actually built one brick, they scanned an RFID tag. RFID tags, they work like barcodes on a Coca-Cola. When you buy it in a supermarket, you can save information on this tag, and when you scan it, you can see it on your computer. So even though you're not at the building site, you can see that this part of the building has been finished today. So the worker builds the house, and they can check it in a different town and see that something happened on the building site. And to make this idea clear, we had this kind of scenario, and yeah, they were, on the one hand, they were very creative, having very different types of buildings, even though they only had Lego as a material. And they got an idea that BIM is not just planning, but also in the other phases of a life cycle.
Okay.
Jesús.
Yo voy a hablar en castellano para descansar un poco. Bueno, creo que habéis entendido más o menos lo que es el proceso. Esta imagen que tenéis ahí es uno de los escenarios en los que nos propusimos organizar los equipos de manera internacional, lo cual añadía una dificultad adicional por el tema del idioma. Entonces generábamos 4 equipos. En cada uno de los equipos había estudiantes de cada una de las universidades y además los BIM manager tampoco coincidían en torno a las lenguas. La manera de definir el proceso, pues normalmente es establecer lo que comúnmente llamamos como un EIR o unos objetivos. No hace falta que sea un gran proyecto, pero sí tener unas pocas ideas claras y definir exactamente cuál sería la actividad. ¿Okay? Por este procedimiento, nosotros, aprovechando que íbamos a venir al EUBIM y antes de que empezara, efectivamente, el día 22 ya estábamos aquí, y participaron en este evento en la modalidad de stress test. Durante un día hicimos un trabajo con 4 grupos de alumnos, 5 de ellos de la Universidad de Wuppertal, otros 5 vinieron de Oldenburg, otros 5 de Calabria, de Italia, y los 5 restantes de Cuenca, aunque en el equipo participaban 2 Erasmus italianos. Y el sistema fue, o la propuesta que les hicimos, fue distinta en esta ocasión porque no trabajaban por equipos, sino que yo lo que intenté hacer fue un proyecto integrado para que todos trabajaran en el mismo, de forma única. Lo que sí hicimos fue distribuir a los alumnos de la misma forma, mezclados internacionalmente, según las dimensiones habituales, o no todas, pero alguna de ellas, como eran 3D de arquitectura, 3D estructura, 4D, 5D y 6D. De esta manera, bueno, pues teníamos alumnos distribuidos en cada una de estas partes. El formato, como estáis viendo, es en mesas comunes para cada una de las áreas y el programa que teníamos establecido a lo largo del día eran explicar qué era lo que queríamos hacer, tener una sesión de trabajo en torno a 1 hora y media, después una reunión corta con los responsables de cada área para ver qué conclusiones habían tenido y cuál era la dirección del proyecto y su progreso, y así sucesivamente. Y la idea que les propusimos, abundando un poco en lo que estaban hablando los compañeros de una situación real, fue plantear una transformación justo en el edificio de esta escuela y la situación que propusimos fue utilizar el atrio central que conocéis, el patio, el corredor de alrededor y lo que sería la parte de la cubierta de la entrada. Lo que se les propuso fue establecer un área de relax y de descanso con alguna pequeña piscina, un sitio para tomar el sol, una cafetería pequeña, una terraza, un sitio de juego, con una dificultad añadida que consistía en tener una accesibilidad accesible para todo el mundo desde la planta baja a la planta de arriba. Bueno, este era un problema que ellos tenían que resolver, era un poco el escenario que había, y de esa manera pues lo que hicieron fue plantear un par de rampas circulares en sentido contrario que extendían desde abajo hasta arriba, desarrollándolo con diferentes software. Esto es una dificultad adicional que tenemos, no estamos adscritos a ningún tipo de software, el único partner es un visualizador y por lo tanto para el modelado como para la estructura como para cualquiera de las otras dimensiones, los alumnos evolucionan con el software que conocen. Bueno, esto era un poco el trabajo que nos propusimos y realmente el desarrollo, como en otras situaciones, pues tiene diferentes grados de evolución y lo que sí hicimos en esta ocasión fue desarrollar el BIM de una manera que fuera simultánea al desarrollo del proceso, porque en experiencias anteriores los alumnos de alguna manera son capaces de seguirlo, pero no totalmente, ¿vale? Entonces, nosotros lo que quisimos hacer es hacer un poco reproducir qué es lo que realmente sucede y finalmente, pues, bueno, tuvimos un último meeting, yo creo que interesante, justo en el atrio en el cual habíamos estado trabajando, para tener un cambio de impresión con los alumnos sobre qué tal les había ido su trabajo en esto. Y hablaron, lógicamente, de las dificultades entre interoperabilidad, comunicación, pero todos se mostraron muy satisfechos por el desarrollo del trabajo y, sobre todo, por la experiencia colaborativa. No olvidemos que esto no deja de ser, finalmente, pues algo que hay que experimentar, el tema del BIM, sobre todo entre todos. Bueno, ahí veis un poco la propuesta que finalmente hicieron y, por mi parte, creo que ya está. Michael, si quieres, puedes cortar el vídeo para que... ¿Ok? ¿Ok? El área donde intervenimos, que ya he explicado, que puedes... Yo más contigo, Michael, first. Thanks. Okay, that's all. Yes, sir. Yes, because we have must fast finish.
Thank you, Jesus.
So,
Maciek.
Yeah. Yes, come back to English, sorry. Well, as you saw actually from the main movie here, the BIM game had to be a sort of collaboration. This is the main topic. BIM at all is a collaboration between people. So also we wanted to give the message to the students how the BIM should be in real. And these scenarios we created in each particular task had to reflect the real collaboration what you probably have on a daily basis. So the students had to play a role. They received everything in the morning, let's say, or the day before, what the role is and what they had to do. So it was not easy for them. And this is what I want to talk a little bit about the problems they face with. This is what you usually, when you work in your companies, at your universities, you also face with the problems. So what is the problem? What was the problem? Because the teams were international, so the language, that was the problem. You must to talk to each other. The next problem was the software, and that's the usually the problem, which is the most important problem you have. How to match the version of the software which has to be integrated, right? The IFC you produce has to be read by other software. The same problem had the students. Also, and that had to, what I already said, to reflect the real process of the BIM. Probably we have no time to discuss this more about, but this is one day. You have to imagine that the students had to do it in one day. They played the different roles, they had to communicate to each other, they have to integrate the software, so it was not easy for them, but sometimes it's a real life. You do it in your companies, the same. Thank you.
Hello. Yes, just a few words about the To Be Free project. Okay, and gracias a ti, Ima, y gracias a Begoña. Okay, To Be Free project is a Erasmus Plus project that gathered these partners. I don't want to give some more details about the partners. They are friends, and we work in a good atmosphere. Okay, next one. Okay. To Be Free is, as it wrote here, to Be Free is at the crossroad of two challenges: change work habits and create a culture of collaboration in the construction trades. No more words. This is the BIM game topic, and what we're interested in To Be Free is how to deal with the data, because the data is the key of the problem. And how can we change work habits and vision about reuse and biosourcing materials in construction and renovation? Okay, and the idea is to connect with circular economy philosophy thanks to collaboration tools that comes from BIM. This one. Okay. So our common ground, among all the partners, is the following. We are all committed to the transition of our territory. We look for a high level of building environmental performance and to collective intelligence, such like building an industry 4.0 or city information modeling, etc., etc. And We try to work around a few issues, build and promote pedagogical innovations. This is the cultural aspect of the project. Develop smart tools like softwares for construction trades, and some partners work hard on it. Conceive collaborative processes within organization, and advocate new collective intelligence. The mission of the aim of To Be Free is to produce messages that can gather and mobilize people. So our operational objectives are the following. I just can say that I tried to find okay. Okay, just the last one, because of course the focus on biosourced materials is very important. How to identify, gather, and acknowledge local actors involved in this action. We want to promote shining examples within Europe. To organize local and regional events that put the spotlight on this shining example, and promote all the good practices at national and European level, and also take advantage of our differences, because we have partners from the south of Italy and others from Belgium. And when you speak about local materials, biosourced materials, of course the framework is not the same, and it's very interesting to cross. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't know if you have any question, if you have time.
No time.
Okay. Thank you very much. Gracias, muchas gracias.